So, gosh, where to begin? Okay, so you know how your life unfolds in a way that you can't like really predict? That's kind of my story. So I feel like life is such a journey and such a process, and it unfolds for us all. And the piece that is so interesting is you can never predict how that's gonna happen and what that's gonna look like. So on my journey, a big piece of it was I thought my calling was physical therapy because I love anything having to do with the human body. I think the anatomy and physiology of the body is amazing. I am totally in love with how the mind works too. It's just so fascinating. But my passion was always helping people go from this place to where they want to be in life, or what they want to do, or what they want to have. And in the beginning, that was all through physical therapy. And I thought that taking someone from a head injury or a stroke or a spinal cord injury or something really devastating was so fascinating because I could see, I could sit with someone and see a life that they could create that would be amazing. And so my job was to help them, strengthen their body and go through, training so that they could have that life that they wanted. And I was so passionate about it. I really thought that was what I was going to end up doing. And I think it's so interesting how God has a plan and it isn't always our plan. And so Mary Kay came along when I was in physical therapy school, and it shifted me in a whole new direction, but still with that same core of helping and inspiring people and showing them that there's a way to have a great life. So kind of when I knew that physical therapy wasn't maybe the calling I thought it was going to be, was when I woke up one morning in a house that we loved. It was our first house and we built it, and had many friends come over and go, wow, this is my dream house. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I have a whole nother dream over here, but it was so cool to have that be our first house and have a beautiful space to live in. But I was walking down the stairs and I thought to myself, if I trip and fall and like hurt myself, maybe I won't have to go to work today. And I thought, maybe this isn't my calling, but I had no clue what I was going to do. So Jeff and I had decided it was time to have children, we were traveling and having fun, but we were kind of in that place where we're going, is this it? Is this all there is? So we started that process and nothing was happening. We were trying, but it just wasn't happening. So I went to the doctor and found out that it maybe wasn't in the cards for me. So we kind of shifted our thinking, like, well, maybe this is we're gonna adopt children, or we knew children would probably be a part of our life someday, but we didn't know how. And so, we kept getting older. Our parents kept going, when are you gonna have children? And we weren't saying, well, we're trying. We've been trying for 2 years, Mom. But we got to this magical place. I went to an acupuncturist and suddenly I was pregnant and nobody could believe it, including my doctor. And then 3 months in, found out that we were gonna lose the baby. And so again, I was kind of in this devastated place, and I needed something to happen in my life that would be positive, would be a way forward. And that's when Mary Kay stepped in. So when I was in physical therapy school, a girlfriend of mine was doing Mary Kay on the side because we were at the #3 school in the country and there was no way you could work another job. So she was doing that for extra income. And she said, you want a free facial? And I was like, well, if it's free, yes. And you can massage me and do anything else you want if it's free, because I was not in a good place financially at that point. And, still going through school, poor student syndrome. And so she introduced me to the stuff. I fell in love with how the skincare was and how it made my skin feel and how radiant it was. So I loved the skincare. The makeup to me was such a new thing. Like no one had ever taught me that. Isn't that weird how women do that every day and no one ever teaches us that piece? So I was so grateful that she did that. And I finally kind of felt like, wow, I saw myself as beautiful kind of for the first time. And so I loved what I was using. But after the whole miscarriage, I was working in an outpatient physical therapy, and one of my patients said, you must be in what, like your mid to late 30s. And I mean, what she was meaning was, you're so wise. And what I heard was, you look really old. And probably all the stress and everything. But I called her and said, how fast can you get me that anti-aging time-wise stuff? Because I need it, apparently. I need to switch over now. And so she met me that night and told me that, you know, she was about to go on Target for her first free car in Mary Kay. And I was like, you're making $45 an hour as a physical therapist. I had no idea you were even doing Mary Kay anymore. And I had no idea it would be that way. And she said one thing that made me go, I'm a Mary Kay consultant. You know, I'm a beauty consultant, which cracked me up with Mary Kay, because that was so not who I was. I was scrubs and tennies every day. But she said, for the $100, you get the starter kit, and it's amazing. And then you get 50% off for life. And I was like, I'm in for that. Even if I made no money, I would get my discount. So what surprised me the most about the business side of things was how much more it was than, you know, selling lipstick. I had no idea until I started the process and started learning and started getting training and attending events and then doing my own appointments. I had no idea. I mean, I guess all of us as women think everybody else has a better life, or that person with more money, or that person with the perfect, you know, supermodel body has it all together. I had this impression that, you know, I was not in a confident place, but everybody else was. And when I sat down with women and they looked in that mirror, what I saw was how they viewed every flaw. And they didn't see how amazing and beautiful and magnificent they were, you know, as human beings. And I totally fell in love with that piece of showing women, you are enough. Like, right now, right here. And I know that for sure because you're here and your heart is beating and you don't have to tell it to beat, you know. I thought, this is such an is exactly what I love about physical therapy. It is seeing someone in a future that's amazing and is a future that they dream of. And I started to see people in that place. And I think that's why Mary Kay took off. I mean, 2 weeks later, I was on Target for my first free car. I had no idea what I was doing. So 4 months later, I had my first free car, and nobody that I ever worked for in physical therapy ever gave me a car. You know, no hospital buys you a car. And the confidence that instilled in me, that I could walk out, you know, and open the door to my garage and see a Mary Kay car sitting there. And to me, that was like a symbol of, I mean, you can't get a Mary Kay car unless you help a bunch of people. So it wasn't even about me, it was about all the people I had helped. And then I started getting, you know, these phone calls that were like phone calls that you just really, they just knock your socks off. Like, you know, I get the crying call and sobbing, like uncontrollable. And I'm like, are you okay? Is everyone, like, have you been in an accident? Like, I'm worrying about the person, and they're going, no, I just opened a bank account for the first time and learned how to write a check. Or I had the gal that called me that said, Joan, because of the amazing women in Mary Kay, I felt led to go back to school, and I'm about to get my high school GED. Or the woman who walked across Mary Kay's stage, you know, which you never think you need a stage walk or a crown or a prize or a diamond ring to feel, you know, great. But I was seeing people's self-esteem heal. I mean, their self-confidence blossom. It was just such a huge thing for me. And I remember her walking across stage, and she totally cried and said, Joan, I never graduated college because I always seemed to stop right before I achieved something big for myself. And she said, this is like my college graduation. And we held each other and cried. It's just so much more than, hey, we sell some lipstick. So I have no idea. I have no idea what is in store for anyone who's watching this. But what I will say is that I know there are no coincidences. I believe there are no coincidences. This is not by chance. And, you know, maybe this is to move you into a direction that is more in line with your dream. That maybe you've forgotten, maybe it's so deeply buried, you haven't seen it in a long time. Maybe this is to dust that off and say, you can do anything. But the last 2 years of my life. Now I've been in Mary Kay, this is going on, 17 years, so I'm in my 18th year. You know, gosh, going on my 9th free car, and I've lost count of the diamond rings and the trips, and we have so many things that help you see and have that opportunity to see you can achieve anything, you know, but still have that flexible schedule where you can put God first and family second, and you can be around people that breathe belief into you. So I have no idea if people are listening to this because they're gonna be, you know, with me and doing life together and having that piece of coaching and mentoring and love. It may not be that. They might be listening to this just so they can hear me say, if you have a dream, any dream, you have everything that you need to accomplish it. You have every bit of knowledge, the people, the resources, the opportunities. You just have to see that it's possible. So the last 2 years have been that piece for me that has kind of brought it all together of, you know, I built my dream home. I lost 100 pounds I've been carrying around with me because I realized I wasn't loving on myself. I was able to see life in a different way because I lost my mom, and I was able to be there because of my flexibility with Mary Kay. I was able to be there for every moment with her and see her precious last 2 years of life here. Thank God, I felt that piece in me that said, this is something for you, and I went for it. Thank God. If I hadn't, I would still be at a hospital. I would still be out there 12 hours a day, or, you know, doing paperwork and commuting, and I would not be the person I am today without the people around me breathing belief into me and standing in the gap for me and saying, Joan, I can see how you can live this dream. I am so grateful for that piece, the friends that make me want to be a better person, because that's who they are, and they're being their, you know, authentic, amazing selves. That thing that's called Mary Kay for me, and that piece, that knowing inside of me that knew that there was some reason to join, even if it was for a darn discount, you know? I mean, just thank God that I leapt and I went out and did that piece, because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have had a flexible stay-at-home income where I could travel, where I could build a dream house, where I could take the pressure off my husband, where I could dig us out of a huge mountain of debt, and where I could live my life around my kids and a life that I love. So what I really want to say to everybody is live it. I mean, we have such precious time here. Live your dream. Absolutely go be who you want to be. Don't let anything stop you. And take some time to really think about that. What do you really want out of life? Don't be afraid to go get it, because you can do it. So my mission now is to help women specifically, but all human beings, discover how beautiful they already are, and to allow that piece to inspire their life so that they can feel empowered to go live their dreams. To me, that's what this whole game of life is about, is living your dream and playing full out and going for that life that you really want to live, and not allowing the junk, you know, the job, you know, the going to work and coming home and the doing the dishes, and doggone it, that laundry happens every week. You know, not letting all that stuff bog you down so much, or the fact that you tried, or you maybe went for it a little bit and got shut down, or you had a hard time. I want you to hear me say, if you have something that you really want to do in this life, it's right now. Don't wait. Do it now, because you deserve it. Your family deserves it. It's not just about you, because your dream is attached to everybody else's. And it's only by us allowing ourselves to just fully live that dream out that we can help everybody else. So live it, live your dream, have fun, explore life, create your own adventure story, allow it to unfold, but know that you can do this.